And it doesn't just appear in theories, but in other cultural artifacts as well. I was watching the music video for Death Grip's song Inanimate Sensation when at some point a ziggurat flew across the screen of a TV crashed on a basketball court. It was unclear exactly what the band was alluding to, so I tried to find out, but found no answer in the song's lyrics, but I did in the name of the album that the song is featured on. It's called The Money Store.
1-800-LOAN-YES? What's that?
The Money Store's new local toll-free number.
1-800-LOAN-YES?
That's the number to call for second mortgage loans.
I can remember that.
Don't forget, fixed rate.
That's right. The rate stays the same for the life of the loan. Qualified homeowners can get quick approval right over the phone. Borrow up to $100,000 or more. Call the Money Store toll-free. Dial 1-800-LOAN-YES.
The Money Store was an American consumer finance company founded in 1967 by a man named Alan Turtletaub. Its main business was to give out loans and make a profit from the interest. At the end of the 20th century, the Money Store was one of the major players in a game that we now call predatory lending. In 1998, Turtletaub's son Mark took over the company, and under his supervision it grew rapidly. And that's because of their TV ads, but also because during the late 80s, early 90s, banks started handing out less loans, while at the same time, the US government told its people that while many thought they didn't have any money to spend, they did. They owned their own house, and that house was worth a fortune. So for years, without knowing, it was like people had been living in their very own bank. The Money Store didn't have to care about their customers' credit history, or even their criminal record, because their house was collateral. And that's called refinancing your home. You use debt, your existing mortgage, to create more debt by getting a mortgage on your mortgage. And finally, people could pay those outstanding bills, buy that car, or fund their children's college education. If they couldn't repay their loan, the Money Store would just take their home and sell it.
The Slocum family was doing fine until an unexpected emergency pulled the rug right out from under their budget. The Money Store's Back on Track plan was just what the doctor ordered. The home loan got them back on their feet, and their interest rate went down automatically since they paid on time. The extra savings even helped pay for their son's college tuition. So call 1-800-LOAN-YES and ask about the Back on Track plan. It's one more way the Money Store can help homeowners like you get back on track.
In short, that's how the Money Store's business expanded so rapidly that in the mid-90s it was earning hundreds of millions of dollars. So the company decided to build a new headquarters in Sacramento, California. They hired a local architect called Ed Cato, who designed a 12-story building that cantilevered toward the river it was sat by. By the time you got to the top floor of his design, you'd have approached the river by almost 40 meters. And when he presented this design, Turtletaub said he wanted a more symmetrical building. So Cato suggested this shape instead. A ziggurat, because it's associated with stability and success, which he thought could be a good image for the Money Store. So now, a shape simultaneously strange and familiar occupies the landscape of West Sacramento. Its square footprint and its cascading floors distract you from the entrance by dazzling you with horizontal and vertical lines. But those lines also express a hierarchy and a social order. This building is worth more than you. The masculine dominance of mass and volume shows that the company had full control over the resources needed to build it. The ziggurat helped their business model gain an image of stability and reliability, silently legitimizing their activities like a loyal accomplice. The Money Store's new headquarters became an instant landmark because it stood out from its surroundings in the most extreme way. And yet, like any building that shamelessly repeats historical form, It seemed to present itself as an inevitable product of natural circumstance because it instantly associated with monuments the world over. Its interior echoes that idea. Arches and fake Doric columns hide the fact that we're actually inside a fairly generic office space. That is until you get to the top floor, because there, walls and ceiling go all mushy and lose contact with geometry. It's weirdly as if we're actually going downstairs into a subterranean domain, or back in time revisiting some weird alternative version of the primitive hut. This is the place in the building that Turtletaub kept secret, where he would supposedly go to be alone. Now, I know that no architectural style would be safe from authorities seeking to legitimize themselves, but in the ziggurat in West Sacramento, vernacular architecture is harnessed to give off the idea that the money store's reliability is authentic and as old as mankind itself. It relies fully on a socially constructed identity that's other and exotic. And in this way, postmodern architecture, such as the ziggurat, produces another history as a kind of parallel timeline where meanings are expanded.